So just looking at this lineup right here, well, we'll see when you pick Drow, if you pick Drow early or not. But when you see an anti-mage, um, you want to not pick Drow or any carry. If you this is the thing, like in your it's not even, I wouldn't even say bracket, in your games. Wow, I just use it. In your games, you want to be very, very careful of your picks, right? You don't want to end up with a lineup which has five carries or five cores and no supports, because right now you are in a lineup which has five cores, right? You've got a Drow Ranger who's really, really farm. Hey, what happened? You've got a Drow Ranger who's really, really okay, farm intensive hero who's a carry. You've got a Huskar who synergizes really, really well with Drow, but he goes in the mid lane, so he's another core. And then you've got an anti mage who is one of the most farm dependent heroes in the game. He can't do anything at all until he gets farmed. He's a super carry as well. Does not work with Drow. Never will you see an anti mage in a game with Drow in the same team. And then Timbersaw, again, a really farm intensive farming hero in the off lane, which is okay. Bloodseeker is doesn't synergize well with Drow at all. The timing windows are all weird. And Drow Ranger. So Drow Ranger basically, um, you pick Drow Ranger if you want to push hard, right? You want to push hard, push strong, and best thing about Drow is that she gives an aura to all her allies, all her ranged allies, and they all get extra damage. That's why Huskar synergizes really, really well with Drow. If you don't have ranged heroes in your team, if your team is already picked, then you want to steer away from Drow. Now, in your bracket, it doesn't matter too much if you guys are pushing or not. Drow Ranger, you want to build Drow for a fighting sort of a character, because there's not going to be any sort of team coordination whatsoever. It is almost impossible to get team coordination, and that's another reason why Drow is a bad pick in your games anyway. Because the way Drow works is you want to get Feds, you want to get Dragonlance, or any other the second item, and then roughly at 10 to 12 minutes or 14 minutes, you want to start pushing towers super hard. Yeah, at 15-ish minutes, you want to start gathering as 5, and you want to start pushing down towers, because you guys are going to be super strong. Enemy team is not going to be strong at all. Just because there's a Zhao aura, you guys are going to be super strong. And Zhao with level 6, she gets tons and tons of damage in her right click. As soon as you turn level 6, if you're in the carry lane, as soon as you turn level 6, you want to start pushing the tower. You want to take that tower immediately, and that's going to be somewhere around the 8-9 minute mark. And then after that, I tell your team, all right, guys, let's start gathering up. You start going to different lanes, start going grouping as 5, and start taking towers. That will never happen in your games, right? So you want to play Dow Ranger in a different way. You want to play her as a sort of a fighting hero, fighting carry. That means farming more. Now, if you're farming more, then you can't have a hero in your team who is super farm dependent, right? There has to be a support. It's really, really important. Otherwise, you guys will never get your items up, and you guys will lose basically. At come 10 minutes, come 14 minutes, you guys are all going to be still farming. You guys are going to need those essential, first item, and the enemy team is already going to have their essential items on their supports at the very least. Jakiro has no essential items. Earthshaker has maybe brown boots, and he's good to go. And Takiro also maybe brown boots. He's good to go as well. So like, look, this team has two supports, right? And then they've got an axe who also doesn't need too much. He just needs level 7, and then he's just gonna run at you guys. And he's gonna run at you, and there's nothing you guys can do about it, because you guys are 5 cores and you've got no stuns. You've got nobody who is strong in the early game. All you guys are carries. So that's one of the biggest things. So that's why you really need to wait to see what your team picks before you pick Zhao. Looks like you picked up here. Okay, so by this time everybody would have marked their heroes, right? Um, and you would have known what people are picking. So this was your opportunity to be like, okay, looks like somebody's gonna pick anti-mage and somebody's gonna pick, timber and all this. So maybe I shouldn't. Well, if somebody's picking anti-mage, you shouldn't pick Zhao. If somebody's picking a carry already, you need to not pick carry.
All right.
you want to win the game, obviously, that's what we're talking about. But if you're just learning, well, that's the other thing. Like, how can you possibly learn when you're playing in a five core lineup? Because this game is not winnable. If this team plays even marginally good, this game is not winnable. Because the timing windows are just going to be completely. This anti mage is going to be free kills up until, well, for the whole game essentially, because he's never going to get his farm up because he's sharing his lane with another carry. So he will never get his essential items up. Um, I can almost. How long was this game? This was a 45 minutes game, and if I'm to take a wild guess, I think Anti-Mage is gonna have two items. He's gonna have four items. That's actually super good. So he got his Battle Fury at 25 minutes. So Fred's Battle Fury as an anti-mage, if you're gonna have a good game, you want to aim for about 13 minutes, the same items. And if you're gonna have a bad game, you're gonna aim for about 16 minutes. 25 minutes means the game is lost.
All right.
And then he finally 38 minutes. So this is when anti-mage is fight ready, right here, 38 minutes. At 38 minutes, he's already died 13 times. I have no idea how he got 12 kills. Probably somebody in the enemy team was feeding. But at 38 minutes, this is when anti-mage can start fighting. By 38 minutes, if he'd had 0-0-0 score, it would have been fine because that's his job. His job is to farm. So that's the rough part about this game. Like, you've got a carry Drow and a carry anti-mage. Now your starting items I don't like at all. You want to have regen. You want to have lots and lots of regen. Even if you get three sets of regen, it's not too bad. But one healing salve, even if you'd had a tango here, I would have been like marginally okay. But salve is horrible. The reason why salve is horrible is because it gives you 400 HP. That means that you're not going to use salve to make it most beneficial. You're not going to use salve until you've got 160 HP, which is roughly this much, right? Well,
All right.
roughly this much. So that is definitely super bad. You want to have tangos. You always want to have tangos, and you want to have a salve as well, just in case there is a gank or something like that, and you lose a lot of HP. And then you don't want to start tangoing up and start like slowly reaching up. You want an instant regen so you can get back into the farming, get back into the lane, and get on with it. Um, oh wow, it's a jungle anti-mage. Never mind. That's probably why he was able to get his battle fury up by 25 minutes even. Because if he went, if he was in this lane, then there's no way he gets anything. Anyway, um, okay, so your starting items, you should have had one tango and one salve, and then with your remaining item, you want to start to build your Aquila, ring of Aquila, right? So for ring of Aquila, you need a wraith band and a ring of Basilius. So let's bring the calculator up. So 120. So 125 gold for Tango, 110 gold for Salve, and then you are left with 390 gold. So what you can do is you can get a circlet, 165, 225 left, and you can essentially either get the recipe for a Wraith Band, or what I would have done is I would have gotten a Ring of Protection. So it's another 175. You're left with 50 gold. For 50 gold, you can get an Ironwood branch, right? So what you end up with is Salve, Tango, Circlet, Circlet, and a Ring of Protection. And then what you do is with the first 325 gold, you go to the side shop and you buy the Sage's Mask, right? And you are going to end up with the Ring of Basilius, which is going to give you 7 extra damage. And you can next thing you can do is you can get Slippers of Agility, and then you can buy the Wraith Band recipe from shop. And that's roughly about 4 minutes in because you're gonna buy boots also. Probably the first goal you're gonna get is you're gonna buy boots with it because boots are really important depending on the lane. If it's like somebody aggressive in the off lane, or if it's two offlaners, then you want boots first item. With your first 400 gold because you need the mobility, otherwise you're gonna die. Uh, So you're gonna
Yeah.
get boots, and then you're gonna do this all again. And Wraith and recipe, you're probably gonna buy around 4 minutes. That means for your you don't really you're not dependent on the courier or getting the courier or anything from base for 4 minutes at the very least, right? And then at 4 minutes, you can reassess the situation. You can see, oh, I've lost a lot of HP. I want another tango. So with your Wraith Bend recipe, you can actually bring out another tango as well, and you're gonna have a brown boots and a Keela and a tango and all that, and you'll only have used the courier once, right? And then we're gonna see how much you use the courier this game. Um,
In this game, I don't think we got a courier till late because nobody bought one.
See,
I
that's
want to say
actually
the game.
that goes even further to show you that that's how important it is to not depend on the courier, because that this way at least 4 minutes you're not dependent on the courier. Maybe somebody buys the courier by 4 minutes, but even if they don't, at least for a very long duration, you are kind of independent. Second thing is you made a really big positioning error here. Oops. Yeah, right here. Axe is a melee hero. You're a ranged hero. You should never be this close to this guy. If he starts coming close to you, you need to walk away. Right? You need to walk away instantly. You need to have a lot better positioning. Right? Positioning is really important. Having control of your hero is really important. And now you look at how much HP you've lost. You're almost half HP now, and you have no way to regen up. You can use a salve, but if you salve up, you're missing 260 HP. So that's like just a little bit more than half the salve's efficiency. You're basically wasting 50 gold on the salve. Right here, once again, the mistake that you made here is that okay, first first mistake. Right. So this was obviously one mistake, and then the next thing is that when your creeps were here, and the axe is, again axe is a melee hero, right? Right now you should just be attacking axe. Yeah, you attack the creep, but what you should have been doing is just attacking the axe, because neither of these creeps are low enough for you to last hit and take. So your creeps are relatively, the enemy creeps are relatively high HP. So you should be taking this time to hit axe to zone him out, right? And as soon as this creep gets low, stop attacking axe and attack the creep to get the last hit. But what you're doing is you're just attacking the creeps. You spend 3 attacks attacking the creep, whereas that could have been 2 attacks on the axe and 1 attack on the creep to get blasted. Now you're attacking axe, but as soon as you saw him coming, like he took 3 steps and you're still standing in one place. You should have started moving back immediately as soon as he started moving forward, because he was able to get like 1 hit, and then Invoker got cold snap on you. So that's something that you need to be more aware of. Another thing you need to be more aware of is that you see your last creep is about to die, and the enemy has a huge creep wave coming your way. And what you need to do is immediately you need to move back, because you don't want to tank this creep. And this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to tank the creep. If this guy hadn't used his cold snap just 2 seconds earlier, this was a guaranteed kill. Guaranteed kill. Because he uses cold snap on you, and then you're just basically going to be stunned here for, I don't know, 3.5 seconds. 3 seconds. So you're stunned there for 3 seconds. That's guaranteed to kill. And now you salve up. You missed all these last hits. So it again comes back to having bit of experience. You know, uh, the creeps weren't gonna hit you anymore. This is where creep aggro comes in, right? So uh, once your creeps arrive, now these none of these creeps are gonna attack you. And if you want to be sure, you just right click one of your creeps to de-aggro all of these creeps. And now these guys are not gonna attack you. So what you could have done is you could have just stood right here, salved up, and tried to attempted these last hits. So there's the 5 creeps here. Let's see how many. And you didn't even get the XP for this. XP range is it's about roughly it's about this much roughly, maybe a little bit more, right? But you were definitely not in range for this particular creep dying right here. So that's a big loss for you. That's nearly 100. That's 90 XP exactly. 90 XP loss, or is 92 or not? And out of those 5 creeps, you got only one, right? So that all comes down to creep laning. What do you call it? Mechanics. Okay, now second thing, you're a carry. You've got four. You're as a carry, your main role or your main goal is to farm and not die. Right? Get safe farm, where it's safe to do so, where there's no danger of dying, where there's not many heroes. This is right now. This is definitely that spot. A safe underneath your tower, and there's a whole 200 gold, 200 gold sitting here waiting for you to be farmed. An entire creep wave here. You leave that creep wave to chase axe. That's really bad. You don't want to do that. You don't want to chase people around. You don't want to go help your allies as a carry because that's the support's job, right? Yes, you got the kill, well, this guy got the kill. Let's see how much XP you got for that kill. Sorry, how much gold you got for that kill. You got about 150 gold. You got about 150 gold. So that 150 gold would have been three creeps right here. Three creeps, literally. And more XP, you would have gotten more XP as well. Wait. That was first blood, so that's a slightly different situation, right? If this wasn't first blood, you wouldn't have gotten that much gold, and you definitely wouldn't have gotten that much XP. So most likely, most situations, it's going to be even worse. You're not even going to get that 150 gold. Um, you only got that much because it was first blood, and that's why it was sort of close to a full creep wave. Usually, it's not going to be even close to that. So your job, and you were risking your life. Definitely, you were risking your life going here because you're lucky that they turned on anti-mage instead of you. He did get really, really low, but if that was you, you would have had to go all the way back to base. You still don't have regen. You spend 50 gold to TP here. Even if you'd gotten a kill, that was 150 gold that you would have gotten from the kill. You would have ran out of regen. You would have gone back to base. That's wasting another full creep wave. That's another 200 gold, so that's 400 gold in total that you wasted. You got 150 gold from the assist or a kill or whatever, and then you would have bought 50 gold worth of TP. So essentially, at the end of the day, you only get 100 gold. That's why these movements as a carry they're not good at all. The biggest issue right now, what you're having is you have no mana, you have no HP regen, so you can't actually do anything because as soon as this guy comes close to you, he starts harassing you, and you just keep on losing life, and there's no way for you to get it back. So HP regen, mana regen. On mana regen on Drow is not important, but mana regen on other heroes who utilize spells is super important, right? You need to get some sort of a mana regen, be it an item or be it a clarity, a consumable. Those are really important. All right. You still don't have boots. You chose to go Blades of Attack first item, which is not a good idea. All you're getting is a bit more damage. But the thing is that this axe starts running at you. Does he have boots? He has boots. So if this axe starts running at you, Invoker throws down a cold snap, you will die immediately. There's not even a chance. You're gonna not even gonna have a chance because wait, what? Oh God, you've got put a okay. So you never ever want to put a point in stats. I don't know why you did this. Probably you read it somewhere or
Yeah, I
something.
was following a guide, and it pretty much said to max out precision aura, and then after you max out precision aura, then put some points in arrow.
Okay, that's exactly why at the beginning I said that go for game leap, or otherwise don't look at the guide, because this is exactly the sort of information which is going to get you wrecked here. Whoever wrote that guide, either it was a really shitty player himself, or or it was a really old guide because long ago it was fashioned to do this, and there can be certain strategies where you can have where you put points in the stats for different heroes. Generally, especially in your skill bracket, for the next 5,000 games, you never ever put a point in stats ever on any hero in Dota, right? Just max out your abilities. 99.99% of the times, point in an ability is going to be worth more than a point in stats because if you look at the stats, right, each point in stats, if you want to put 1 point in stats, it gives you two stats, which is equivalent to two ironwood branches. That's 100 gold. Compare that to another second in silence, right? That could mean kill or no kill, right? Well, actually, you don't even have a point in silence. That's 3 seconds of silence that you don't have. Instead, you went for two ironwood branches right here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So stats are not almost for you. Stats never ever. Don't even think about stats until you've got nothing else to level up. Now on any hero.
All right.
And boots super important, especially against heroes. If you've got multiple heroes in your lane, you need to have better positioning. Already, you're having a hard time with positioning. You're learning positioning. You don't have good positioning sense. Comes with experience. Comes with time. You're gonna learn. It's gonna happen. Don't worry about that. But you need to help yourself when it comes to positioning. You need to be more aware of your positioning. And secondly, you need to have boots. Really, really crucial. Really, really crucial. You should have gotten boots instead of this blades attack. And
All right.
thirdly, HP region, extremely important. If you find yourself out of region, so you want to always be sure that you have in your inventory some sort of HP region, right? And on heroes who use spells, you want to have some sort of mana region as well. In fact, Drow Ranger does use some spells, and that's why you get Aquila. And Aquila is 9 out of 10 times it's enough mana region to sustain Drow's ability usage. Now, HP region wise, you want to always make sure you have some sort of HP sustain, be it tangos, be it some sort of an item that gives you HP. If you look at your inventory and you don't have a lifesteal, you don't have a vanguard or a heart or something like that, and you don't have tangos and salves or whatever, immediately get them from the base. Immediately, especially in the early game, you always want to, if you are down to your last two tangos, for example, get another full set of tangos brought out immediately. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you've got one tango left or you've got no tangos left and you're missing HP, right? In fact, in this situation right here, I would have bought a tango and a salve, used up the salve to get my full HP immediately, and had a salve and had a full set of tangos to sustain me until I get my a mask of some life steal or something. And now you're walking around, you're not farming, and you don't have boots, so you're walking around is slow. And this is exactly what I was talking. Oh wow, you're still alive, and you're still alive. Wow, that is just. So you should have died here. And the reason why it was so hard for you to get away from Axe is because he's got boots, you don't. That's pretty much it. You're so lucky you survived here. You missed the guy missed the sunstrike. He didn't. You know the orb walking I was telling you. If he had orb walked, he would have killed you. There's just so many ways that he would have died. If he'd had a point in hunger, battle hunger, well, he's only level 3, so it's okay.
All right.
So yeah, you're really lucky. You go back to base, you buy two TPs. No need for two TPs. You're gonna stay in lane, so there's no need for another TP. But what you could have bought is you. Oh wow. What you should have bought is what you should have bought is you should have bought boots, obviously, and then you could have upgraded the snippers of one of the snippers of agility to your treads. Sorry, to your wraith band, and then started working towards your Aquila. Looks like you're going for a crystal's first item. That is
Yeah.
really bad because what Drow. Okay, so Drow Ranger has a lot of damage, right? Every hero has their strengths and weaknesses. And another channel that I would really like you to start watching is what's his name? Eric.
I'm just gonna find this build and I'm gonna send it to you because this is what I was following, and that's why I went for the chrysalis first. Um, here.
There you go, Eric Wright. So Eric Wright does a really good does really good guides. He gives positives and negatives about his guides, and he has a really good breakdown of each hero that he does. And he's got a really nice 5 pillar thing. I don't remember very well what those 5 pillars are, but it's something like each hero in Dota needs mobility, damage, survivability, or defense, or something like that. And there's two more that I can't for the life of me I can't remember. But point being that each hero needs these 5 things, right? And you want to make sure that your hero has those 5 things. Now, when it comes to Drow Ranger, her strength is damage. Drow has tons and tons of damage, right? But what she lacks, super lacks, in her abilities is mobility. And that's generally when you build on Drow Ranger, when you put items on Drow Ranger, you're gonna put mobility on. most of the times. You're gonna have a blink dagger. You're gonna have a force staff. You're gonna have a manta, yasha, some sort of like SNY or yasha. You're gonna have some sort of a mobility item to get you around because Drow Ranger is really really slow and she's really really squishy. So there's two things you can do about squishy. You can either build mobility so that you can make her survive a little better because you're a bit more mobile, so it's harder for people to lock you down. Or you can get tanky. Now, when you start getting tanky, tankiness is more expensive than mobility. Mobility usually means one item, which is usually a cheap item, like both like Blink Dagger is about 2,000 gold. Force Staff is about 2,700, 800, 900 gold, something like that. So all of these, well, actually, it's 2,300 gold. And all of these, both of these mobility items, and even Yasha is about 1,800, 1,900 gold. So the mobility items are relatively cheap. But when you start going tanky, tanky is expensive items. Like the amount of tankiness that Drow would need, you probably need a heart just to sustain, and that's like 5,000 gold. Um,
Yeah.
so tankiness is generally not a route that Drow Ranger wants to go for. And then second thing the Drow Ranger lacks a lot is regen, HP regen. Her abilities don't give her any sort of sustain, right? If you look at most heroes here, this guy has got his sustain from inner vitality, and then he's gonna build mask of morbid mask to give him more survival, more regen. This guy has regen from this. This guy has regen from this. Anti-mage doesn't have regen, but then he's got tankiness and spell shield, so he only needs a little bit of regen, not a lot, or more HP. So every hero has their pluses and negatives. But Drow Ranger definitely her strongest suit is her damage. So what you don't need on Drow is damage. You definitely don't need damage. And looks like the first
Or-
item, literally the first item you're going for is damage. You never want to do that. You always want to have on no on any hero. You don't want to have a big item going in first. This is something that I used to do as well. When I was starting out Dota, the first like 1,000 games of Dota, this is very similar. This is what I used to do. That's fine. You're learning. That's completely fine. But the good thing about the good thing for you is that you don't have to do this for 900 more games. You can learn right now that you need small items. You need boots. You need to
Right.
upgrade boots to treads. In that time, you need regen. If you think you need more sustain in lane, the tangos are not helping enough, then you go for a morbid mask first after boots. Boots is probably the first item you're gonna get. The only reason you will not have boots first in your games is if there's nobody in your lane pretty much, and you can get away with building a ring of Aquila early on, so that it gives you a little bit more damage. It helps you clear out the creep waves a bit faster, etc., etc. So definitely not this item build that you're going for because you will die overnight, right? Oh my god, this guy's so bad. So if he had called you, you would have been dead again. This guy would have thrown out a sunstrike or something. It looks like he doesn't have mana, so he probably wouldn't have died because he has no mana at all. So, but he missed his call again.
Because the build that I put in Skype for you to look at,
Let me
that's what I
just.
was following this game,
All right, this one.
and that's why I went for the Chrysalis first.
All right, let's look at this build. All right, Dota Fire. Yeah, just don't go to Dota Fire. Pretty much just stay away from Dota Fire.
Or,
Loveless's guide to practice. Um, well, even this guy says go treads first, and then Yasha, Helm of Dom, and then Chrysalis. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Um, yeah. This starting item build is. See, this item build would have been okay if you're playing at like 5k MMR because your support is gonna make sure that the enemy offlaner stays zoned out, and that goes in putting 2 points in Frost Arrow again goes further to the point that if you've got supports in your lane, if there's only one offlaner and he's killable, then you put 2 points in Frost Arrow, you get 32% slow, and then you can get a kill over and over again on the offlaner. If he comes into the lane, he will die, and you don't need regen. But that's never gonna happen in your games, right? So this guy isn't
right.
actually really bad. He's just actually really really good. It's the other way around, and that's the unfortunate situation for you that you were following this guy. And the same thing happens when you watch high level people, when you watch pro players playing games, because they are gonna have different item builds, different skill builds. But the problem is the situation in their games calls for those sort of items. But if you start copying them, the situation in your games is going to be completely different, and it's never going to work out. Because, for example, in your game right now, you have no support. You're solo. You're in offlane right now. Ask, find in Dota Fire somewhere how to offlane tracks, because your lane you had to offlane with tracks. You probably, if I was you and I knew what the lane was going to be, I would have had. Let me just pull up the calculator really quickly just to make sure. I would have started off with 400 gold for my boots, and then 125 gold for my tangos, and then I have only 100 more gold. I need one more region. Okay, so hold on. Probably would not started off with boots. I would have started off. Oops, how do you clear this? I would have started off with 125 for. Okay, here, where's. There we go. I would have started on 125 with for a tango, and then 110 for a salve, and then I have 390 left over. I would have gone to the side shop at the start of the game. I would have gone to the side shop, and in 10 seconds before the creeps even meet, I would have had 400 gold, and I would have bought brown boots, because mobility was that much important in this lane, because you're essentially offlaning with Drow. Um,
Is it important to get the ruin if you can
no,
off Drow
no,
or no?
no,
Right.
it's almost never important to get rune unless you're alchemist. Try to avoid rune fights. Try to avoid runes in general. In fact, in that lane, I probably would have put in my first point in gust, just because once again you need survivability, right? If axe starts to go on you, you need to throw down the gust. You don't want to take a single point of damage, right? You just want to keep them away from you. And gust has a cooldown of cooldown 16 seconds. So essentially, you can play a little bit of aggressive and then throw down a gust, and then you have to play super defensive for 16 seconds until your gust comes off the cooldown.
All right.
Let's see. This guy goes over a lot of things that I don't have time to read, but I can't. I don't know where's the starting item. Item recommendation. Great game is an item for early game. Uh, Empowered treads are a must on. Yeah, but this doesn't say what you should build first. It doesn't say what you should build first, but see, this is oh, it says core inventory. Choose one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
that's
don't
why I
agree with
got
that.
confused about it.
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with choose one. You need treads, you need Yasha, or you should get Yasha as well, and you can have Helm of Dominator as well, and you can have Crystals as well. Now, Crystalus is a really old build, and that's 2013, as you can see. So this is 3 years old. Something that is 3 months old, you want to avoid, because it's probably out of meta. It's the patch has changed. Something's changed. This was 3 years ago. A patch 3 years ago. This was when Drow Ranger was a fighting hero. So this patch, this is definitely not going to work now. Oh, that's probably why he's got 2 points in cluster as well, and but he's got stats later on as well. I mean, this was the roughly the time when you would put stats, point in stats, but whatever. I'm not going to get into that. So yeah, so this is really old guide, really old guide.
All right.
Secondly, you never ever want to buy a recipe for an item first, because this was essentially 550 gold of your early game that you invested into an item which actually doesn't give you anything at all. Right now, you don't even have it on you. Like, even if you bought a broadsword and you had it in base, that's again 1200 gold, which is not doing anything for you. And that's essentially why you're building early game items on these heroes, because you need to have those in your inventory, because buying these big items is you're gonna have some gold. Because look at yourself right now. You've got 550 gold sitting in base, so that's 550 gold lower in net worth. You are lower. So see, it says 2,000 gold net worth you have. You should essentially be at 1,500 net worth right now, but you've actually got 500 600 gold in your, like, you're saving it up. So that's actually even lower. You're actually about 1,000 net worth. If you look at Invoker, he is saving 400. He's saving 400, so he's not 1,800. He's 1,400. Similarly, Earthshaker is literally exactly 3,000 net worth. Right? He's exactly, because he has every penny on him. right? So he's not only is he the highest net worth, but he's actually using his entire net worth, right? So he's actually it's on the courier, and now anti mage, come on, there we go. But he managed to get his item. So looks like in your games nobody likes boots because even though this guy's definitely not a Smurf because he went for a shadow blade, so he's definitely lower than 1k. See this guy. Okay, this guy is tread, so he's smart. So this is a very good build. He's going for um, a armlet, and he doesn't even need this guy doesn't need tangos, but he's got tangos. He's smart. This guy has no HP regions. That's pretty bad. He does have a magic stick, but that's just not enough. This guy has okay items, but for an invoker, it's really shit item. This guy is the correct choice. It's very very good item build. This guy's okay. This guy just went jungle, so I'm not gonna comment on that. This guy's okay as well. He didn't need mana. He didn't need HP regen either. So, but that's fine. It's fine to have and not need than need and not have. All right. So, see, you've ended up retreating to the jungle. See, right now, instead of this 550 gold here and saving up 1,000 gold, you could have bought and a blades of attack. Even if you'd bought a mass morbid mask, first item would have been like I don't know at 4 minutes or 5 minutes. You could have actually done this very very effectively. You could have jungled very very effectively. If people are if people are contesting you, then you can actually just jungle so effectively because you can lifesteal. And then once the creep wave comes close to the tower, you go back to the creep wave and then you farm. So I would really suggest that you play a lot more games, you practice a lot, you subscribe to Game Leap. Um, at least go to my channel and look for other look at the improving Dota and see what other websites I recommend because obviously I don't remember all of them. But there's plenty of free ones in my recommendations.